Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will. Somebody needs to rejoice with me. This is a monumental day. Amen. People are hard to make this day possible. Somebody needs to say amen. We are here on today. I am thankful to be here on this morning. Thankful for everyone who has allowed us to take part in such a monumental occasion. Everyone knows the long, hard-fought victory that this is, but it is a victory, and we need to be thankful that we have been allowed to go through the wilderness to get to our new promised land. Come on, somebody. Say amen. Amen. My name is Reverend William Braun, the pastor of Mother African Zor United Methodist Church, located on Broad and Westmoreland, and I give greetings and thanks to you from our Bishop, Mrs. Peggy Johnson. Amen. Amen. Let us look to the Lord. Dear God, we thank you for this time, on this day, in this place, on this as we declare holy ground, God. God, you have allowed us to fight. You have allowed us to walk through the wilderness. You have allowed us to have conversations and sometimes even arguments. But God, we are here on today, and we are thankful. We are thankful that you covered us in your blood. We are thankful that you covered this space with your presence. We are thankful that we are here to be able to be here for the community and for the people who will be served in this particular place. We are thankful for the grocery store. We're thankful for the new developments that will be here. We're thankful for the jobs. And we're thankful for all that you have done right now, dear God. So as we rest in your presence, as we understand who we are and whose we are, we ask that you always remind us of the things that you have said we could do and the things that you have told us not to do. In this time, God, we thank you for all that we can be in this moment for our people, for your people, dear God. So right now, we ask that you rest in this place and keep us in your presence. And it's in the name of Jesus in which we pray that everyone under the sound of my voice say, amen, 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 amen. Amen.
Good morning. I welcome you all here today. I am so sorry that I can't be with you, but this is an exciting day and I'm feeling it in my spirit because we are moving on and building and developing this neighborhood. I just want to take a moment to thank the members of this community for working with us in partnership in building and planning and developing this neighborhood. I want to thank our elected officials from this neighborhood for helping us to build and connecting us more and more with our community. And I have to thank the leadership of the Housing Authority, our dear leader, Kelvin Jeremiah, who is our CEO. He has done an amazing job with his team of listening to the community, building, and always being concerned, number one, with the people who live in the community. And so now I'm going to send you to the tape so you can see what this is all about.
Today is another milestone in PHA delivering on its promise to the Sharswood lumber community. We are breaking ground on a $52 million community revitalization project.
This groundbreaking is absolutely monumental into the lives of the people in this section of North Philadelphia.
The new stores are going to be at walking distance, and that'll make it very convenient for the residents in this area.
Economic development, housing development, employment development. We need so many services in this area.
This project, I think, is a really important example of a high-impact community investment. The project is going to be bringing fresh food access to quality healthcare services, and 100 new job opportunities available for neighborhood residents.
We made a commitment more than 5 years ago that we were going to do this. And we were going to bring to this community the long-awaited supermarket, a retail bank, along with, of course, an urgent care center that would bring health care to families who reside in Sharswood.
Neighborhoods are not just housing. Neighborhoods include a commercial corridor. You need to have jobs. You need to have shops and stores. This all is part of the fabric of a community.
The care we provide is in this goal in our mind is to help patients to access to quality of care, so to reduce the ER visit, to reduce hospitalization, to reduce the healthcare cost.
The fact that PHA has laid the foundation, it is something long overdue for this community.
This project came together. We couldn't do this project alone. It required the perfect alignment of the city, of the state, and of the federal government.
This mirrors what's happening in the private development side very well with a public investment and make the neighborhood again more equitable for everyone to live in and to afford to live in.
When the public sector and the private sector partner together and we're able to bring in value-aligned investors alongside, public entities that are driving a equitable vision for a neighborhood, I think that's where the magic really is.
Significant involvement by the community in the planning phase, governments engaged, public-private partnership as it relates to this development. This is what we need to be doing across the city of Philadelphia and across the state. Because there are people in this city and across the state and across the country who gave a damn about what happens here. Because we believe strongly in our plan to redevelop and revitalize communities across Philadelphia. And we're doing so with incredible partners.
This really was the perfect first project for us to invest in. We know the history of Sharswood, and we also know the benefits that this project are going to bring to that community, especially considering the project is the result of a neighborhood planning process.
HBC Real Estate builds off the 76ers' long-standing commitment to the Philadelphia community. Sharswood represents an opportunity to invest in our community and to support one of our development partners, Mosaic.
Mosaic is one of the developers of the project. It takes a host of organizations and local leaders, and especially the community, to really come together and collaborate to pull together a project of this magnitude and complexity.
We sought to do a few things with the Housing Authority, and it's something that our company's actually very skilled at, which is bringing mixed market approaches into neighborhoods to help revitalize them.
We are Wood Forest CEI Bulos Opportunity Fund. We are the first and largest private equity investor into this project, and we hope that others will follow to help bring more investment into this community to help realize its full potential.
Capital One looks for projects for new market tax credit investment that are either very community impactful or create a lot of good quality jobs. We get really excited when we find a project that does both.
We are part of this work, and we are proud to be doing it with all of you. I want to thank PHA's Board of Commissioners who have endorsed this plan. I want to thank everyone to believe that we have a role in not merely where people live, but how they live. That everyone deserves a place where they can shop, where they can walk down the street safely, where they can go to school and have their children receive a quality education.
There are so many parties that are investing in this neighborhood, and with investment comes change and revitalization and hope for the future.
We absolutely see this project as the first in what will be many steps in terms of continuing to bring jobs and goods and services to this neighborhood.
There are good things happening in Philadelphia. So it's really a rebirth and a retransformation of a community that got good, solid people and deserves the investment.
The hustling and the bustling of a well-maintained and often visited center, to me, that will measure success.
When you have a happy environment, everything runs well.
It's really exciting to see this community become even more complete with this additional anchor in our community.
This is the new PHA. We're opening doors to opportunities. retail that this community started planning for more than 5 years ago. So here you are, sitting proud while the naysayers are wondering how the hell did they keep doing this and making this happen. We have some secrets of our own. We'll tell you about it. I'll whisper it to you. This was an extremely complicated deal that aligned multiple funding resources. And yes, there were some other tangential issues around uninvited guests. They're no longer there. That made it especially difficult because as of last Monday, this very project was at the brink of collapse. But by God's grace, here we are. We brought together private banks, federal new market tax credits, CD, state, local, federal government, and PHA's own resources, and even $751,250 from crowdfunding. PHFA, to whom we're incredibly grateful, committed $16.5 million of their own new market tax credit to this project. All of these resources were consolidated into one transaction by a minority, woman-owned business that is Mosaic Development Partners and Leslie Smallwood. Let's give her a round of applause. This is the largest minority deal PHA has ever entered into with an MWB enterprise. So Leslie, I don't know what to tell you, lady. You have large shoes to fill. We're looking at you. We're praying for you. But don't screw this up. And I have every confidence in you that you won because you have in us partner in PHA and in me personally. So here we are. From the beginning, I knew revitalization of the Ridge Avenue commercial corridor was one of the components that was going to transform this community. And so we did what we needed to do. This development called Sharswood Ridge will be a destination with housing, as I mentioned, and urgent care, and yes, Santander Bank, a Wingstop, and more retail and restaurants to come. Under this plan, Sharswood will no longer be a food desert because I'm pleased to announce that our grocery outlet will be here to anchor this site. This is their first store in Philadelphia. I know folks were expecting Save-A-Lot. We did a little bit better than that, I think. Right, Leslie? And we're proud of that. What's next? I don't even think I told Daryl. he's surprised. You know, I got to keep something in my back pocket. What's next? More housing. When this plan is said and done, despite what you might have read, despite what you might have heard, there will be 1,200 new units in this community. It will be mixed income community with rentals and home ownership units. This will be a neighborhood of choice where anyone, regardless of income, would choose to live. In closing, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank the PHA Board of Commissioners, led by my esteemed friend, Lynette Bronxo, chairwoman of the board, and Vice Chair Herb Wetzel, and all of the members who have committed themselves to supporting me and PHA and this revitalization plan. Let's give them a round of applause and thank them. I wish I could say I did this alone. I did not. I had some incredible staffers who worked on this project for the last 3 years to make sure it would be realized. And I'm not going to name everyone by name, but if you're a PHA staffer anywhere around, stand up, raise your hand, shake your hand. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Every department played an essential role in the success of this project, and none of this would be possible without all of you, and I'm deeply, deeply grateful to you. And finally, I want to thank everyone for making this vision a reality. Yes, it hasn't been easy, but it was worth it. For the lives that will be changed forever, it was, in fact, worth it. And I would like to acknowledge the Sharswood community. My God, Donetta and others, we've asked so much of you and so much of this community. And for, about 30 years, guys in dark suits and red ties came and said, we're going to do something about this community, Donetta. And never did. But I hope you know that you are the real reasons we are here today. It's because of you. Although your voices over the last 3 or 4 months have not always been the loudest voices, I hope you know that you are always on my mind and you remain steadfast. We remain steadfast in our commitment to keeping the promises that we made to this community. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your trust. As our friends from the 76ers would say, please continue to trust the process as we continue to open doors to opportunities. Now, let's hear from the Mr. Promises Made, Promises Kept, my good friend, Council President Clark. And you don't go saying any of my secrets either, Clark.
Oh, man, look. I'll feel you, bro. Morning. I'm going to say it. Promises made. Promises kept. That's what I'm talking about. It is very exciting to be here this morning for a whole host of reasons. Most importantly, that it is progress, but progress that matters to people in this local community. I, like Kelvin, can't say enough about how much we appreciate this local neighborhood. You guys, and I want to apologize. As the elected representative, I'm going to apologize that it took us this long to get this done. All right, I'm just going to say it like it is, because there has been discussions about this lot for a long, long time. We had a couple of false starts, but thanks to the Philadelphia Housing Authority, thanks to Mosaic, thanks to all of the investors, thanks to the board, thanks to all of the people that came together, my good friends and colleagues, Dwight, Congressman Money Evans, oh man. State Senator Sharice Street, and do not believe the story that I used to pick him up from school. I don't know who he's talking about. And my little sister, as I affectionately call her, Donna Bullock, who was actually working in our office when we were crafting some of the early phases of this. Guys, I just want to thank you, Kelvin. I want to thank you and your team, and Leslie, thank you so much for believing in the North Philadelphia community. Now, I want to look at this through the lens of what we've been suffering for the last several months. COVID-19 pandemic, which is why I'm standing up here with a mask on as I'm talking, all right? This is a different kind of world. This is a new normal. But I want to say this development, it actually addresses the things that have been magnified as a result of the COVID-19. You know, things that we all knew in this community have been going on for a long time, right? The lack of investment, the lack of support, you know, the lack of healthy foods in communities of color, the lack of the appropriate health care in communities of color, the lack of job opportunities in communities of color, the lack of opportunities for entrepreneurs, African-American entrepreneurs, to do what we need to do in these communities. This here, it checks every last one of those boxes. That's why this is special, right? That's why this is special, because at the end of the day, this is what we need to be doing, as I said in that tape, across the city of Philadelphia. And every community that has had challenges that have been magnified by the COVID-19, this is the template. So we guys, and I guess you'll be shopping this around all over the place, Leslie, and Greg, you know, which you should be, because this is what we want to do. So I just want to say how proud I am of having a small opportunity, working with my good friend, Councilwoman Blackwell. She actually helped us pass the legislation and move this forward. So guys, I just want to say how excited I am and how proud I am of all of you all, how proud I am of the community that sat down at the table early on and talked about how this should be structured, what is needed for our neighborhood. We don't need people speaking on our behalf. We will speak and we will tell you what we like to see in the community, and you guys did an awesome job. So I just want to thank you all so much. Be safe. God bless you all. We look forward to the ribbon cutting in, what, 12 months? You're trying to put pressure on me. Now I'm going to throw it back in your lap. You know what I'm talking about? Guys, love you all. Be safe. God bless you. See you in 12 months.
Are you good with that timeline, Leslie? I have a friend in Washington who has been so steadfast in his commitment to making developments such as this one a reality. I call him Congressman Evans. Darrell Clark calls him Congressman Moneyman Evans. Please, Dwight Evans.
Good morning. This is absolutely a pleasure. Jane Blackwell, when I first got elected, November will be 4 years that I've been in the United States Congress. And Janie, would you believe Donna Bullock was taking me on a tour in this neighborhood? And I was laughing to myself because she took me on a tour. She says, "This is what I want you to get done." And I laughed about it because I don't think Donna knew my background. Because I was born like right over top of those houses at 16th and Sauber, like right over top of those houses. And Daryl's Herbie said, and Piggy's Barber Shop used to be here, and the Pearl used to be there. And I used to walk right up here and go to the Pearl movie for 25 cents. And I was smiling when Daryl, when Donna was taking me. I ain't say anything to her. She was taking me around. She showed me. And I was just kind of getting a kick out of it. I was born here. And if anything has had a commitment for me personally, it's been this neighborhood. More than anything you can imagine. A lot of times you're in politics, you do it because you have to, but when it gets personal, it's something you do because the people deserve it. And under the President of City Council leadership, and Cerise Street, and Donna, and Calvin, and the board, it's been that collective leadership. So I really felt it an honor that the people had given me a chance to represent this neighborhood. Because I felt like it was what I owed. In all those years that I spent in Harrisburg, I describe myself like the Satchel Paige of the process. So when I went to Washington, it was like, he's new. I was like, fine. It was like sort of like Donna. It was like he's new. I went right, as Darryl said, I went right for the Ways and Means Committee. Because the thing that Calvin talks about comes under that jurisdiction. And I made very clear that I understood the vision. So with Calvin doing what he's doing, and the people of PHA and the people of this neighborhood, I knew what had to happen, but it just needed leadership. And I'm serious. I watched Darryl, and Darryl been, 20 years in this district, and now as president of City Council. I watched with Cerise, and I watched with Donna. What I saw here, what's desperately needed, was people just to work together. And if they work together, we can make a difference. And I just said to Calvin, I said to Darryl, we had a press conference, I think 2 weeks ago, on a program I put out about housing matters. And I had that same press conference in Western Pennsylvania. And I have made housing the focus. Because if you don't have a house, I'll assure you, you can't operate. And I knew PHA had to be at the basis of it. I was fortunate enough, Daryl, and you think we did some things in Harrisburg. I never did this in my life. Vote for $2.2 trillion. And then $3.2 trillion in the HEROES Act. Those are kind of normal things we should do. It shouldn't be a pandemic, to the point Darryl was making, for us to respond. It shouldn't be a pandemic, because communities like this have been neglected for an awful long time, not just in Philadelphia, but all across the nation. So I've made it my issue and my crusade to be a crusade for across the entire nation. I've gotten with the Congressional Black Caucus, I got with other people and moved on this position, because this model is something we can duplicate. I just told that to Calvin. I said, Calvin, you make it easy for me. When you do this stuff, I just point to that. You give me something to point to. You point to a vision. So, folks, I agree with Darryl said earlier. Yeah, it is unfortunate it's taken too long. It should not have taken this long. I know you're frustrated. I know you're angry. But it shouldn't have taken this long. And people got a right to be upset. But we have a model. And that model is we work together. That's very important. We must work together. And then we have a vision like Calvin lays out. And then we follow the plan. You make a plan and you work the plan. And what's been demonstrated here is that exact thing. And I'm happy to be a part of this team. I told Darryl when I first got elected, the fact of the matter, only I want to do is be helpful in any way I can. But we need all of you. We got a lot more work to do. I mean, we got an awful lot of work to do. I don't want nobody to be, Ms. Lou, there, you can imagine, not just here, I can go to West Philly, all throughout this congressional district, there's a lot of communities that are in true need. They are in real need. Janie Black will say they are real need. And I want to take this model and duplicate it with your help. Because my feeling is 20 days, there should be a little change, I hope. And if there's a little change, then that'd be even in a better position. Because with the change there and that, because I already start talking about this. I talk about this because we can do it. So I want you to understand we need your collectivism. We need your collectivism to work together to do what we have done here. Thank you very much.
Did I hear a commitment for $20 billion in American money? Do I? Thank you, Congressman. State Rep Bollock has been on this project since she was a staffer in Clark's office. So she has seen all kinds of iterations of this project and has been a true supporter and friend of mine and of PHA. I'd like to welcome her for her remarks.
Thank you, Kelvin. There's always a joke about me following all these tall fellas and having to pull this mic all the way down. And I didn't wear my heels today. So I grew up in a church, and there was a deacon in my church that always greeted the church family with these words. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. It is truly good to be here in this place at this time with all of you. Congressman, when we walked through this neighborhood 4 years ago, I know you might have been smiling at me and saying things in your head, but one of the things that I remember in that conversation was the question you posed to me about whether it was housing or commercial activity. First, last, second, how do we build communities? And that was a challenging question because it was a chicken before the egg question, right? And it really pushed me to think about how we build communities. It can't just be an island of housing. And what the Housing Authority has acknowledged is that they can't just build housing and leave communities stranded. We need to provide the resources and the support and all of the healthcare and supermarkets and grocery stores and small businesses to support community. So I want to say thank you to every single person who has played a part, all the names who are heard, but I'm going to do my due diligence. Kelvin Jeremiah and your team at PHA, Congressman Dwight Evans, my big brother, our council president, Darrell Clark, my other big brother, Senator Sharif Street, our team, Leslie and Greg. I know you're there too, Greg. Your sidekick, we got you. And all of the other construction and finance partners and everyone who has played a role in our community. Darnetta RC, Stephanie and Robbie Ridgway, Rupert Alston, and all the residents of Sharswood and Blumberg. You've all played a role in making sure that this project was responsive to the community's needs. And we talked about it and was referenced in the comments before me about the disparities in communities like Sharswood and Blumberg, the health disparities, the food access issues that Congressman Dwight Evans had been working on for many, many years. Not only that this community was a food desert, it was a health desert, it's a financial desert, and you are addressing all of that right here in this project. And so it's an honor to be a part of it as a staffer, honored to be a part of it now as an elected official, and I'll be even more honored when I get to go grocery shopping a little closer to my own home right here in North Philadelphia. This project will be an artery right here on Ridge Avenue, an artery of economic gain and economic justice for a community that has long been ignored. And I am so honored to be a part of that, and I look forward to us moving forward and building more communities that are complete with not just the housing, but the economic engine and the economic arteries like this that every community deserves. So thanks again for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you, Kelvin, for pushing through, taking my phone calls even when I was yelling at you, because I believed in holding folks accountable on both sides and being a voice for the community that I represent. And again, it is truly, truly good to be here. To be here right now in this place with all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Donna. Please give a warm welcome to Senator Sharif Street.
How's everybody doing? Great. You know, I am so pleased to be here today. I want to congratulate all of the folks who worked really hard on this project. You know, Congressman Evans, we always appreciate your bringing significant federal resources to the table, because PHA can't get this stuff done without the resources that you bring to bear. Councilwoman Janie Blackwell, we want to continue to acknowledge that even that really throughout your entire life, you have been dedicated to making communities better and to helping the least of these. And we know West Philly claims you, but we know you were born up the street at Richard Allen in North Philly. So we're going to always claim that too. Council President Clark, we appreciate all the leadership you've been providing. Yes, even since I was in the first grade and you were picking me up from school. It is true. It's factually, it is true. Hey, but that just means he has 4 decades of leadership, and we do appreciate that. And my sister, Donna Bullock, who has been continually working hard and is a steadfast advocate for this community. You know, all my life, we've been talking about rebuilding the neighborhoods. I grew up hearing about the first wave of abandonment of this community when you had the riots in the 60s. And before that, people talked about all the neighborhood stores. You could get almost anything. They say go up the avenue, you can get all kind of stuff. I used to hear from Mr. Webb, who's left us recently, and he used to talk about all the different things that happened on the avenue. And then I remember, as a kid, the second wave of disinvestment that took place when the original drug epidemic hit, when it hit our communities, when we had the crack cocaine epidemic, and then you had complete abandonment. And my father and Council President Clark had trouble giving away properties in this neighborhood. But we are now reaching a stage where we have rebuilt this community in a way that is comprehensive. Yes, we needed people to have decent housing, and there's nothing wrong with the government providing its most fundamental obligation to make sure that people have a decent place to live, and that public housing need not be substandard housing, but should be of a quality that every last one of us wants to live in. But we understood that people needed to be able to go shopping, they needed to have jobs, and so we're pleased, and Kelvin, thank you for putting this headquarters right here in North Philadelphia, right down the street. I put my Senate office right down the street, just a 2 blocks down on Jefferson Street. And I know this is not political, but we put the Democratic State Party headquarters in North Philly too. But it's not just about whether it's a supermarket or a political office. Or that's what allows business people to attend their businesses. It creates jobs, it creates development, it creates positive economic activity. Because we need to be able to do well for our community as we do good for the people that live in it. And the people who are involved in construction and development, this can no longer be a good old boys club. It can't just be white men. It can't just be men. And so we are so pleased, Leslie, that you were able to take the lead in this project, because that is important too, because sisters do everything else in our community. Why not be in charge of development as well? Because black community would not function without black women. And so, I am the son of a guy known for being verbose, so I'm going to wrap it up. But I do want you to understand, look, when we break ground on this property and when we complete the vision on Ridge Avenue, it is something that I've been hearing about my entire life. When my father first talked about the Neighborhood Transformation Initiative and the fact that we were going to invest in the communities of Philadelphia and we were going to transform neighborhoods, that was a commitment that many of us have never given up on. And the reality is that this kind of transformation, as Congressman Effen talked about, really is a model for what should be happening across this city and across this Commonwealth and across the country. We should be making investments in affordable housing, and we should be making investments in communities, and we should be doing it in a diverse way that creates jobs and creates sustainability. And so I'm pleased and proud that we've got this done, or at least we're starting it, because you guys are going to get built in 12 months, like the council president said, right? So, but understood that this is another important step, but it's not the end. There's still more work to be done. But thank you so much for what we've done. We appreciate what you're going, and we got your back as we move forward.
Thank you, Senator. Obviously, one of the most important funder that we have is the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, who, as you may know, we received a $30 million Choice Neighborhood Implementation Grant earlier this year. HUD has been a partner in this, and I'd like to recognize and thank the regional administrator and the HUD Public and Indian Housing Team, the regional office, as well as the HUD headquarters, who have been such an incredible support for me and for PHA, notwithstanding the political environment that we're in. I'd like to ask Elvis Sullivan to come forward to make brief remarks on HUD's remarks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit better than that. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am pinch hitting for Joe DeFelice, who is traveling at East Stroudsburg today, talking about opportunity zones and community revitalization. But don't you think that he's not thinking about you? Every single time we travel, he talks about the Housing Authority and the great job that Kelvin Jeremiah is doing and his team, along with the elected officials. And we're so gratified that with the $30 million implementation grant is part of this project. And not to mention that the most important thing is the community and the people that live in it. And I also commend all the elected officials that have done a tremendous job working together along with the community. And finally, I'm going to say, go Eagles. And David, make sure you tell the Sixers they made a great pick in Doc Rivers. Yeah. Thank you.
So our developer partner, Mosaic, has been with us trying to put this thing together now for what, about 3 years, Leslie? 2, 3? 3 years. Oh my God, it seems like it was only yesterday. Do you want to do it again? You don't want to do it again, Leslie? Can we do a double take? This is one and done? I am just so incredibly pleased that we were able to identify a developer partner in Mosaic who has all of the requisite skill set, including, frankly, an understanding of the community that we are so privileged to serve, and why this mixed-use development made sense for this community, and why PHA took the incredible steps we took in not only amassing the property, but developing a comprehensive strategy that this development must fit into, and listening critically to the needs of the community. Folks don't always understand that this is not PHA's plan, it is the community's plan. The vision that was established for this community was not PHA's, it was the community's vision. We are merely facilitators of that, helping them to realize their own dreams. And so with that, I'd love to have Greg come forward and say, for his remarks. And thank you, Leslie.
Good morning, and thank you, Leslie, for letting me join Mosaic. I appreciate it. I am Leslie's sidekick, for those that you don't know. And I don't say that in jest. I say it as a moniker of respect. This is really, it's somewhat emotional for me because I just know the reason why we started this company and how difficult it was. And I'm mindful of really what it takes to do a development of this level of complexity, because we go through this with, frankly, every development that we have. This is not new for Mosaic, nor is it new for Shift Capital. The reason why I'm so happy to have the moniker as Leslie's sidekick is because what's equally important is to demonstrate that black women can hold significant position and skill and be recognized and valued for it. So, congratulations. And I learned that from my wife, by the way, so my son will tell you. We, as a team, and I'm here to really talk about the face of development, frankly, and while everybody has the great opportunity to speak with Leslie frequently, development occurs behind the scenes. There's significant skill, there's significant commitment and dedication to tactics, to strategy, to delivery on economics, to investment strategy. And there's a lot of development going around in this city. It's just not happening in neighborhoods that we care about. And the reason why is because it's too hard. And I want to point out, really, our development team. So, Brian, I know you're going to talk next, but if Brian will stand up, if Leslie would stand up, if Nancy would stand up, Maria. This is the face of our core development team that worked on this project for the last 2 to 3 years, every single day, bringing a project of this magnitude and this significance to the community. And Nick Dima's there as well. Nick and Ken Granderson and Elisa Strong, all of you have been really important to bringing something forward. And this is not all white male, as you notice. These are women, Latina, black, white, and me. I was a part of it, believe it or not. That are really bringing something to the community that is excellent and that meets the needs and that's significant and of high value. And I say that because for you who are decision makers, When people tell you we can't, you tell them something else. We deserve the right to do these. And not just here. Ann Nevins, I don't know if she's here. She's not. But I want to thank her. She gave us the opportunity to develop at the Navy Yard. That's Mosaic's project. We're a co-developer there. We're thrilled about that project. It's a $2.8 billion project that we're going to be a co-leader in. But that's one of the things we can do. Teams like this can do more things of that scale and magnitude, but we need people in this room to believe it and to allow it. So I say that by saying I'm thrilled to be here. I'm a little emotional because this was a horrible project for all of us. Catalytic. Oh, okay. I can't use horrible or complicated. It was catalytic, unique, an incredible partnership. But Kelvin spoke to the level of complexity of this project. The number of businesses and entities, and led by PHA, frankly, they were the lead here, not only providing the land, but providing a loan that was so significant to anchoring everything else that had to come together that we couldn't have put the stack together. We have Dr. Lee here, Everest Urgent Care, who they've been with us for 2 years. They didn't even know they were going to be in a shopping center. They wanted to be across the street, frankly. And we asked them to change and to shift, and they did that. So we're thankful for all of the things that the people here did to make this come to fruition, with the recognition that this is possible all throughout the city, all throughout the country, if you all decide to open your lens and change the face of development. So with that, I'll give it back to you.
One slight correction, Greg. You're here because we do believe.
Thank you.
Right? Leslie? Right? It's those other folks, bro. It's those other folks. But we're really happy to be doing this project with you. And now I'm going to ask Mr. Brian Murray from Shift Capital if he would grace us with his presence and make a few remarks as well. All right? Please welcome him.
Well, I'm also happy to be Greg and Leslie's sidekick as the only white male on the team, and very happy about that. I just want to first thank Mosaic for inviting us into this project. You all don't see the behind the scenes, but there is no group that I'd rather be in the trenches with than Greg, Leslie, and their extended team. It's just been a real pleasure, and I look forward to more of that. I do just want to make some thanks to my own team, Nancy Gephardt, Maria Sauerbier, as well as Margot Geppert, Michael Matera, Sharifa Geraldo, Greg Smith, and Shane Catarito, all who are part of that behind the scene teams that matter. I also want to tip my hat of admiration to PHA. It's hard to understate the courage and leadership that it takes to do this project. That does take 5 years, and I do think it's going to inspire other agencies across the city as well as across the nation. I do want to also extend my admiration to the elected officials. It really took that early advocacy, and it took taking Leslie's calls nonstop, taking Kelvin's calls nonstop, that really, really made the big difference here. I mean, we were certainly at the precipice many times, and your support was critical. I also want to thank and get a little bit into the capital stack here a little bit, just to talk about the financial partners, Fulton Bank, CCG, PIDC, Capital One. It's a pleasure to have you on the team. When the proverbial dust is settled here with this project, I think this is going to really look like, and we're going to look back and see a true impact project. We knew as sponsors that we had to drive value alignment, mission alignment all the way through the capital stack here. And I think we nailed it. And I think that this importance is true not only just because of where we are today, but also because there's an inherent disconnect and distrust of the capital system right now. And This is a project that has brought in organizations and capital that really does care about these communities and is leveraging the resources of PHA to make this project work, and I think that that's noteworthy in today's time. Leading that charge is our anchor investor, Wood Forest CEI Bolus Fund, which is not only one of the leading OZ funds in the country, but also stuck through this project through thick or thin when other folks would have just told us to pound sand, to be honest with you. This also includes local institutional capital like HBSE, which we're really excited to have a part of it, as well as local impact investors from Social Venture Circle, which is working with Impact PHL to make Philadelphia one of the top destinations for impact investing. Although even with all that, we also brought in a crowdfunding component with our partners, Small Change, which allowed us to bring in small investors and hyper-local investors into this project when they would never have access to be able to invest in this project. So we're really excited about that as well. This has been iterated, I think, all day, but I want to emphasize this point. Impact projects should not be this hard, but it does take a village. It takes collaboration where we get out of our comfort zones. It means we have to build trust along public, private, nonprofit groups to make this work. It means that we need to take leaps of faith to realize more equitable neighborhoods. And right now it feels like the status quo, it's either the status quo or it's gentrification. And it's up to the folks in this room, the work that we're doing to pave a new path. I think this project absolutely represents that. We're proud to be a part of it. And I look forward to more leaps of faith with you all in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for those words. Unfortunately, Ann Nevins from PIDC was expected. She could no longer be here. But I wanted to extend my deep appreciation to PIDC for not only supporting, but investing in this project as well. So let's give them a round of applause. I think you've heard by now how complex a financial structure this project was or is. I'd like to acknowledge Fulton Bank, who has provided some $9 million in debt lending to this transformative project. And so let's please welcome Janine Fields from Fulton Bank for her remarks. Let's thank them. Welcome. You got a check with you? Thank you, thank you.
So good day, everyone. You know, this is indeed a good day. It's not just a good day, though. It's a great day. And it's a great day because despite the challenges of the times, we're all here together, whether in person or online. It's a great day because it marks the culmination of months and months and months and years of work. It's a great day because we're celebrating the groundbreaking of Sharswood Bridge, a long-awaited and transformational project that will anchor the renaissance of this community. It's a great day because the parties involved in this project, and there are lots of us, found a way to collaborate, to lean in, and stretch the boundaries of what we thought we were capable of doing. And in so doing, we overcame obstacles and found solutions to bring us to this day. Fulton Bank is proud to be part of this exciting public-private partnership, which was conceived through PHA and the neighborhood's vision and made a reality, first and foremost, through PHA's leadership. And even though everybody keeps repeating it, I'm going to add my voice to the choir. I'm going to thank you, Kelvin, and Nick, wherever you are. You've been great partners. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be standing here. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank my colleagues, Leslie and Greg, Brian, Maria, Nancy, everybody at Shift and Mosaic. Thank you for offering me the opportunity to participate. I really appreciate it. And speaking of partners, I'd like to call out the rest of the financing team. You've heard all the names, Capital One, Cornerstone, PIDC, everyone responsible for bringing the money together to make this project a reality. Those are the folks I've been talking with a lot. Fulton Bank views our participation in this project as an extension of our commitment to the greater Philadelphia market and to the Sharswood Brewerytown community. Some of you may remember that last year Fulton Bank opened a branch in Brewerytown. It was the first branch opened in 30 years in that neighborhood. And it's just down the street. So while that's not the only thing that we're doing in this neighborhood, and this is not the only thing or the first thing, we're making an investment in Sharswood, in Brewerytown, and in this community. And we think our involvement in this project and our investment epitomizes our Fulton Forward initiative, which is how we address community. We believe that initiative promotes diversity, equity, and inclusion, encourages the building of vibrant communities, fosters affordable housing, drives economic development, and increases financial literacy in the communities that we serve. So I would like to thank everyone for today. Excited to be a part. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. Again, this is really reflective of our kind of approach, public-private partnerships that's coming to realize what is going to be a great project here. We will now hear from the Opportunity Zone investor, Doug Schaefer from Wood Forest National Bank. Is Doug here? Yeah. Doug, welcome.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. Councilwoman, Council. It's such a pleasure to be here. Wood Forest National Bank is a bank that's in 17 states, and we are so accessible where we are inside Walmarts. We're not right in Philadelphia, but it's in our service area. We are so proud to work with Brian and Shift Capital and this tremendous opportunity here. We have a power that we can bring to bear, and it's something that's driven me as I years ago thought I retired from banking because I was very frustrated that the capital does not flow to where it's needed. And we're breaking those barriers down. Projects like this, with your great leadership and everybody else here, these are hard to do. This is really difficult. The team that's assembled here put the time and energy in. We used opportunity zones the way they should be used to have an impact in these communities and let the communities determine the need and let them be a part of the equity that's coming out of this. So you talked about the crowdfunding source. That is a brilliant layer in the capital stack, and we need to do more of that. So please take this back. Please call us. We're happy to send Noelle St. Clair. Noelle, can you stand up? She's a Philly native, Drexel grad. We stole her from the Philadelphia Fed. She's brilliant. She helped really build our fund structure, and it's a model for other financial institutions that have capital gains to bring to bear. We don't invest unless it has an impact, and we measure that impact with capital standards and an advisory board and everything else. So we looked at 144 projects. We chose 10 across our 17 states, and we are so proud of this one because of all the bells and whistles we've heard. The fact that we're doing affordable housing, bringing jobs, working on fixing the food desert and everything else. We need to do a lot more of these, and we have to do it with a sense of urgency we haven't had before. So I'm really proud to be here. I'm a Philly native. My dad grew up Thomas Street in Chester. My mother Upper Darby. I was born in Camden, went to Drexel. So I can't be prouder to be standing in front of you. And my dad stood many years ago with the mayor doing some groundbreaking, and I'm choked up as well. So thank you for having us. And I know Sam Spencer couldn't be here, who's the CEO of the Bullows Fund. Jay Dreibelvis, our CEO of the bank, at Wood Forest National Bank, is so proud to be doing this for everybody. CJ Masterson of Bullows Capital, Bullows they're a corporate developer that has worked together. And the way our fund works is it's a bank that has gains, partnered with a CDFI that's a national leader, and a community development company that came together to be able to bring this. And those are the types of partnerships that are lurking in what needs to be done. And look at all the people that had to come together to make this happen. Please challenge everybody to show up and do these types of hard transactions, because they're going to have such a monumental impact. So thank you for all your sponsorships. Thanks for having us. Give it back.
You know, listening to Doug speak, I wish there were more elected officials here who would understand why this project, and Darryl, forgive me, why this project couldn't fail, why we needed to go forward with this project. Because it's not too often, frankly, that we're able to bring so many investors, so many people from the public, from the private, from the philanthropic side, to invest in projects like this. And what we're hearing from them, if I'm hearing you correctly, Doug, and I'll be calling you, there are other projects, that they want to do more. They want to be partners with us. We need to find ways, pathways to be able to do that. And so I really think it's important that this project serves as a bridge to other projects in the future. So I really appreciate this partnership and all the work that has been done so far. I'm going to ask David Gold, the Chief Diversity and Impact Officer from the 76ers. Thank you, too, for your support and for the partnership.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to just say that I'm proud to be here today. Grateful for the opportunity to participate on behalf of Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment, our managing partners, David Blitzer and Josh Harris, on the 76ers. We believe that we have a really critical role and responsibility to have a positive impact in the communities that we live, work, and play in. And this project really epitomizes that goal of ours. And as the first HBSC real estate investment, we just couldn't be prouder to be here and to participate. I want to thank everybody who had a role in making this project possible. Council President Clark, of course, Calvin Jeremiah, Councilwoman Blackwell, good to see you, Congressman Evans, Senator Shreet, and Representative Bullock. And I want to give a special thank you to Greg Reeves and Leslie Smallwood-Lewis from Mosaic. I have spent countless hours on Zoom calls and the phone with Greg and Leslie over the course of the last 6 months. Actually, I think I spent more time with them than most of my colleagues at the Sixers since I joined. First time I get to meet them in person here today. But Greg and Leslie brought this opportunity to us. It was one that we could not pass up on for all the reasons that have been described today. And also an opportunity for us to partner and support a black developer, which we feel is critically important as we try to be part of the solution to change the face of development, as Greg put it so well. I also want to give a special thank you to somebody who I think is really the linchpin for why we are part of this project and why it's so important, and it's been mentioned countless times already, but that's Darnetta. You know, from my work in Philadelphia and working in neighborhoods, it's something that's deeply personal to me, and I know to our organization, that we are supporting projects that support community needs and priorities, especially those communities who not only have not had this type of investment that supports long-term residents and will benefit them through wealth creation, affordable housing, access to food, but also has given them a voice to be part of the process. And that's important not just because of the product that we are celebrating here today, but because symbolically it's important that they know that they have a voice in this process, and that they have a they deserve to have the right to use it. And I just couldn't be prouder to be part of a project that really emphasized the community engagement and planning, and we're just really grateful to be part of this. So thank you. We look forward to coming back for the groundbreaking. I'm sorry, the ribbon cutting.
Thank you, David. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge and call upon my good friend who I've missed terribly, Jenny Blackwell. You know a person's value when they're in power, and you know the person's value when they're out of power. If the two align, you can trust them. Jenny Blackwell, come on up and say hello.
Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you. Good afternoon. As always, I thank God for each day, the privilege of being here with all of you today. Thank you, Kelvin, for calling on me. And first thing I'd like to say is, you know, Scripture tells us in season and out of season, we have to do what our mission is. And so I'm working as hard as I was working this time last year. And people come to me, it's still there. So I don't have all the assistance, so I got to work even harder to service the people who come to me. But it's my pleasure, it's my mission. God gave me this to do, and as long as I can, I will do that. I thank you for the kind remarks. Thank you, President Darrell Clark. Thank you for my vote masks. Thank you, Sharif Street. I will acknowledge him when he was a little boy, Darrell, but that makes me a little older than Darrell, but it's okay. Thank you all who have mentioned me. Thank you, State Representative. I knew her and her husband when they started, and the Eagles and the banks and all who are here, because, you know, I have to speak next week on gentrification, and it's been on my mind. And this is an example of what can happen when we fight it. For gentrification is really destroying a whole community on all levels. And this Sharswood project is an example of what can happen to succeed, to make a neighborhood all it can be, from housing to supermarkets to banks to jobs, all of it. And it is a perfect example that there is hope here, there's hope to come, and that when we all work together, and we have people like Dwight Evans. You know, I called somebody, and I didn't get Dwight. I was trying to catch him Saturday in my area. But when we have folks like Dwight and all our elected officials working together, and a wonderful leader like Kelvin, we'll be successful. God bless you all, and thank you. Thank you.
And last, but certainly not least, I'd like to call the voice of the community, one of our true partner who has been with us every step of the way, through the ups and downs, through the sideways. We've been able to call upon her to really represent the Sharswood community, even as others sought to speak for her and for the community in a way that was not particularly productive. But, you know, Donetta, I'd like you to come forward. But I wanted to thank you personally for standing up for Sharswood, for using your voice, and I want you to know that I see you and I hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our neighborhood. I'm going to share a little bit about myself today. Normally I don't, because I'm so nervous when I come up here to speak, but since I've heard everyone speak today, it just led me to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a 60s baby. And so I remember the Pearl Theater, I remember Ridge Avenue with the chickens and the roasted peanuts and all of that on the avenue. So I've lived in this community almost all my life. My mother was born on Harlan Street in the house. So we know this community and we've been around for a long time. And this is truly, truly a blessing to see this revitalization. We're not going to call it gentrification. We're going to call it a revitalization, because this is what this is. And PHA has opened the doors to opportunity, and the community was involved from the beginning. It wasn't always pretty, but we're here. And I just want to acknowledge the community, like Miss Annie back there, Miss Joanne Harris, Mr. Bellows, Mr. Michael, Mr. McFadden, because when no one showed up to these meetings back in 2013, we were there. We discussed what we wanted, what we needed. Not just what we wanted, but what we needed. This is going to bring opportunity for employment. And also, this is opportunity for wealth opportunity as well. How many people will have opportunity to purchase a house who are low and middle income in this neighborhood that look like me, who can have a nice house? I don't know if anyone has seen the new homes they put up, PHA. It's talking about 2 bathrooms, a master suite. And I'm like, oh my. It's true, and you're right. People do deserve to be in decent and affordable housing. I mean, these houses are really, really nice. I've lived in Maryland for a few years, and I saw some of the developments they did out here. And when I came here, the houses that are up on Jefferson Street look like some of the developments I saw in D.C. and Maryland. So I'm like, this is really an opportunity, and your slogan goes well. Open doors to opportunities, and that's what PHA has done. And we thank you so much. And we really appreciate being here, working with Mosaic, Donna Bullock, Sharif Street, down Councilman Clark, Evans, I can't name everyone, but and Pastor Braun, because we were fighting for this. And I'm glad that there was an agreement made to move the the people that were on the lot. So, but people do deserve housing. We're not going to downplay that because everyone needs a place to stay. And you're right. If you don't have a home, a lot of other things won't happen. My mother used to always say, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, because you need a place to lay your head every night. And then you can work everything else out. So we thank you again. And I'm so happy to be a part of this. And our community deserves this as well. Thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, would you meet me outside to do the groundbreaking? Thank you very much for being here. I'm with you in 12 months. So on 3. Yeah, over here. 1, 2, 3. One more time.
One more time. This is his favorite part. After 6 months of school.
Count up. 2, 3. Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
He